Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik, and this is a Game War in the Pacific Advanced Edition. This is my Play by Evil match against Italien. He's a Japanese player, and for me it is Allied side. This is the mod Bottleneck, and we arrive at the December 11th turn. Hong Kong fall last turn. And now the landing here at Mindanao will continue. 3 landings at the same time to conquer the southern island of the Philippines. Japanese also closing in on Rabaul. Miri Brunei is already more or less close to fall. And here we have a very rare encounter of 2 carrier fleets at night. So you can see the Japanese carrier fleet around all 6 carriers are still here, and my Lexington carrier group. But because it's a surface engagement and at night, both sides try to escape. I try to return to Pearl Harbor, and the Japanese maybe back to Truk. And my torpedo boat's still trying to get a hit on this enemy landing task forces north of Clarkfield, San Fernando and whatever. So let's see if my torpedo boats can score a hit today. And there is at least 1 torpedo hit in the cargo ship. And these are 21-inch torpedoes, so they have power. Okay. I think there was a collision, or maybe even 2, not so sure, but at least 1 torpedo hit. You can see there's maybe a collision because this ship is heavy damage. The torpedo hit was not critical, so the ship is not on heavy damage, so not if flooding or engine damage or the system damage is over 50, then normally you have heavy damage report. But even a damaged ship is a ship Italian cannot use. This is a PG, still trying to defend against my torpedo boats, or motor torpedo boats. So these are the British torpedo boats. Submarine. The Japanese submarine here has entries to Palm Bay, intercepting here one of my civilian transport ships, trying to get this non-combat unit out. Mark 14. Small cargo ship, Dutch commander don't want to attack. Here we are back. 2 torpedo boats attacking now this convoy. Even if I don't score a hit, it will mess up the unloading of this task force. And there's a torpedo hit. Good. And the second torpedo hit. So that cargo ship will maybe go down. So I lost a torpedo boat, but I also sunk a cargo ship. That is a good deal. More I cannot ask. So 1-to-1 kill ratio. But ships are empty, at least no troops, more maybe supplies. Good. These are now my 3 Allied destroyers. This is from Wake. The 4 destroyers trying to save some guys from Wake. I break them up. These are the 3 with not real damage, only a little system, little low on fuel, so he's smoking. And the 1 damaged one I send north, so I split them up. Unluckily, the one with low on fuel get a torpedo hit. But Flusser is still afloat. But the torpedo hit is normally always a dead sentence. Yeah. The ship is too slow, it cannot maneuver more, and the Japanese will pick up the ship and Flusser don't go down. A little unlucky, but yeah. These are good destroyers, so these are first class ready to use fleet destroyers, and so I am one guy short now. But at the same time, my Dutch submarines can intercept here some shipping going into Miri, Brunei. But these are maybe return ships. They're going back to Saigon. This motor torpedo boat is, I think, out of torpedoes, so no engagement more. Here we have now, I think, Tarakan. And these are only two civilian cargo ships, or two transports, and you can see the civilians was on the ship trying to reach Java, but now they must swim. Next ship, a small AKL, also lost. Wake, I sent in these two submarines because the Japanese anti-submarine equipment is not so powerful. Even in shallow water I can survive some hits, but if I have no working torpedoes, it's not working. S-40 miss here, a destroyer minesweeper. But S-41 also is able to hit the destroyer minesweeper. And 2 torpedo hits is normally too much. I guess this will go down. Yeah. But destroyer minesweepers are really only support ships. So they are long range destroyer minesweepers. You can build them up to escort ships, but it takes a year. Good. I also, my submarine here, attack here this unescorted light cargo ship on the surface. Getting a lot of shells in. And I think it's enough to sink it. Not much return fire here. This last cargo ship's equipment or supplies trying to unload at the port, but the light or destroyer division is too fast. So yeah. The next light cargo ship also attacked on the surface. Also dead. This is not what the motor torpedo boats want to encounter, enemy destroyers. But what I can do, 2 are dead. This is a Royal Thai Navy cargo ship, but it's so low level and so cheap that my commander doesn't want to take it. And this is my last British motor torpedo boat. No, 2 more. Now it's over. I hit anyway, no torpedoes more. Without Hong Kong you cannot restock torpedoes. Good. 2 light cargo ships also lost here. The last ships made from Hong Kong. Good, I get detection on the Japanese carrier fleet. At least 1 formation. Sweeping. Airstrike on the airfield of Manila and damaging my Catalinas here. The Catalinas have the number one job is to get troops from the islands and bring them to Manila to try to get more attack value here. But this airfield is always under attack and threat, so it's dangerous to keep too many aircraft there. Short range tanker here at Guam. I cannot really save this ship. It will maybe fall sooner or later. But it's a 1 point or 2 points tanker. Doesn't matter. Low level attacks. I'm not so sure if Key 27s are so good for this. For maybe anti-airfield, it is okay with the small bombs, but for ground attacks, well, that is everyone's player's choice. Also port strike here, there are some damaged ships. I try to at least get them half decent ready before I can send them out, but looks like I wasn't able to get 1 or 2 days rest. Italian is bombing the port immediately. Ships are sinking, but this was a Japanese ship now sinking. Detection of heavy units, heavy cruisers, battleships, whatever. Airfield attack here, but I think no aircraft left. I start to centralize all the Chinese training air wings and maybe send them over to India. It doesn't matter at the end of if I train in China or in India. And in India I have unlimited supplies, and in China supplies are always in demand. One more hit, but no explosion. Pity. Next, no hit and no explosion. But my sub-hunters going here for this Japanese submarine, at least I can get some hits on them. Shallow water is always easy. Wake Island, trying to get here a hit on a troop transport. 37mm counter battery fires, at the end nothing. Source of Luzon now, makes sense. Davao, no one here. He is only a partisan unit. Same. They are more or less only block and delay units. One Filipino division was trying to escape, was not fast enough. And the Japanese attacking here in the north. But I was able to get everything together what is on the island. And at least I can hold for some short time the base. We will see. Also destroyed all this equipment. Some civilians getting destroyed. Still the first week of the war. Everything is standard. Also the British getting kicked out, but I have still the opportunity to now to maybe fly them out from this airfield back to Palmbang with some transport aircraft. Also here, I was able, I think, to save some of them, but not all. And this was my attempt to retake the base behind my units because I was trying to escape, but now some enemy guard unit just walk in, and I have also only a support platoon. So not enough firepower to retake the base. I need to wait that the two regiments falling back. Good. Overall a standard turn, I would say. Good. After action report. Air losses are light, no direct confrontation. 3 of my aircraft getting lost at Manila airfield, I would say. The Warhawks are maybe the most important here. Light losses for the Japanese strike missions. Nothing special. Ship sunk last turn. I lost a good destroyer, Mahan class destroyer. I mean, they're not perfect, but they are good. The DMS also went down. You can say it's a cheap destroyer, so it's a support destroyer. And all the rest is small fish. There's maybe some more Japanese cargo ship went down, I don't know, but after 2-3 months I will maybe know. That's it. I will not really check for it. Good. The enemy carrier fleet was here at Johnston Island, I think. They both task forces had an engagement without any fire engagement. So the carrier fleet Kidubutai is here going west, falling back to likely Trok, I would say. Low on fuel and maybe low on torpedoes. My carrier fleet around Lexington is also falling back here to Pearl Harbor. Luckily, for some reason, there's no airstrike on these 2 destroyers. There was the one destroyer was defeated by a torpedo hit. I had here the full speed run, so I'm now very low on fuel. I can only make 8 more hexes to Johnston Island, but there are 10, so I will be out of fuel. But because no Navy search, I can maybe escape. This is the damaged destroyer, had this 5.5 inch shell. Also undetected. No, fully detected. Okay. So maybe I must risk to go full speed because there's enough fuel to reach Midway Island. Yeah. But this is all for this area. Around Rabaul, still no Japanese ships here at Rabaul port directly. So I try to load what is possible and sail it all back to Port Moresby and rebuild everything there. But it's of course very dangerous. At the same time, I fly out what is possible. This guy's now, once the unit is completely transferred to the location, it's always switched back to supply mode. So this means 1 unit arrive at Port Moresby. These guys are also picking up stuff. Good. The Japanese coming, but not now. So far not in Rabaul. Dutch East Indies, Japanese task forces, this is Kuda formation, was hunting down here some of my cargo ships. Tarakan. I have here some submarines still in a position trying to intercept. Other ships are here. All this landing equipment. I have here my Dutch and American submarines trying to request some, try to score some hits. Let's say this. At the same time, I also move everything what is possible from Tarakan to Balikpapan and from Balikpapan to Surabaya. I only must be careful because my 3 cruisers are here. Houston and 2 light cruisers plus my destroyers. The destroyers makes a successful run for this Malayan combat squad. What is normal, it starts here at Jesselton. So I was able to transfer from Tarakan, but now I have enemy heavy cruisers here, so it's a little unsafe to move them out, so I must see what happens. So far there's not really good detection here on the base. I only hope there's no carrier strike on Tarakan and hitting my cruisers in port, but yeah. But running now out is also dangerous because if I run into Japanese heavy cruisers, this can end badly. It's gambling. Brunei and Miri is lost. It's okay. The Japanese took Northern Island. I fall back to Manila. Everything is normal here. Same situation here. I was trying to retake this base to fall back, but it's not possible. There's a Navy Guard unit now and more is coming. I also try to rescue here the last 4 British medium bombers because I cannot repair them. The base is too damaged, so I will send some cheap cargo, relative cheap, try to pick them up and then transport to Singapore and repair them there. Burma, no activity so far. I mean, there is Japanese troops coming and crossing here the mountain, but there is no street, so this is very slow. This road is very, very slow road for the Japanese. Batavia getting more and more aircraft. You can see that I have here now 179 aircraft. So more or less I call all fighter forces from Singapore to Batavia and I try to train them as fast and as best as possible. I mean, out of a Demon I will never get anything because it's it could fight with the Oscar. It is more or less a Dutch Oscar, I would say. It's the same speed, also unprotected. Firepower is similar, but it's less maneuver value. So a Demon is really a GT aircraft. But I have some Hawks here. Hawks are also not protected, same speed. It's a similar aircraft, I would say. But I would always take a Hawk before I enter a Demon. And the standard fighter is of course always a Buffalo. And the Buffalo is, at least on paper, fast, but they have not the maneuver values. But they have heavy machine guns and they are center mounted. So they can score some hits. Still it's only Buffalo. So I would say that is fine. The Dutch submarine fleet is still here. The American submarine fleet is still here. Everything is okay in China. It's still too early. I fall back. I try to build my fortress hexes. So I must hold this hex. I must hold this hex. And I must hold this hex. If I can hold all the 3, I block all the main roads into China. And all 3 of them are on triple defense hexes. So there's a possibility that I can hold these hexes for at least a month, let's say this, maybe even 2 or 3 months, depending on the situation. At the same time, I also built up here the cities for Fortress City, because I don't want only one away. I always play active with Chinese forces, and I choose simply the location where I will hold the line. And because this is Bottleneck, I have more options with China. Most important is the secret, not really a secret, but I would say in China, terrain and supplies are the only stuff what really matters. Choose the right hex where you want to hold the hex, and make sure that the supplies are going to the armies where you really need them. Don't build anything in China what you do not really need to build, because it's all consumed supplies. Don't reinforce and upgrade any Chinese unit what you don't want upgrade, because it's all burnt supplies, and supplies are always in demand in China. And India is India, there's nothing. So I would say that was a standard turn early in the war. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.